Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Immigrant Section. It's your boy Abbas Wahab saying howdy. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. We got another banger for you today. In the studio with me today is the very talented graphic designer. He made the intro you just watched. He made the merch random screening crew. I've been working with this guy. Yo, he's killing it. I had to have him on. My guy, Joshua Dacucos.
There we go. We got it, man. We got that. We got that, man.
I clarified that name so many times before we went live, bro.
You know what, man? It's one of many that have not got it right, so I don't blame you, but we're good. You got it perfect, man.
Welcome to the studio. And like I was saying, you're part of a very small group of people, small group of guests who have brought a gift to the immigrant section.
Oh, yeah, man.
Very immigrant-like, very ethnic-like.
I got you.
Be like, I gotta come with a gift.
That's the Filipino culture, man. We gotta always give gifts. You gotta, if you come to the crib, we gotta give you guys some food. You gotta walk away with something,
Yo, I'm open to it, brother. So what's the deal with it?
Remind me.
Yeah.
You want to do it at the end? Nah, let's go at the end, bro. We gotta finish it properly. You know what I'm saying?
He's got a proper piece of artwork right there, and he's had it it's flipped around. I only see the back, and and he's at the end. I'm like, damn, bro.
I had to, man. You're my first. This is my first podcast. You're the first one to invite me out and do one of these. So it's fitting that I show some love.
Yo, I appreciate by the way, just keep that in mind. Yeah, that's very first podcast.
Yeah, I'm very inexperienced.
You're like, this is my first podcast. Yeah, it's like, yeah, bro, you're in the living room right now. Yo, by the way, just bring that up.
Right?
Hold that right there. Yeah, bro, I had to have you on, man. You're mad talented. I love your work. I was just saying, bro, you're way more jacked than I would have thought. That picture you got on Instagram, that's pre-COVID. You said you got jacked during COVID?
What else is there to do, man? For real, I literally...
Get fat or jacked, right?
One or the other, man. But I was like, you know what? I have to be jacked, bro. I have to, I have a little space in my backyard. So, I made, a little makeshift, gym.
Yeah.
And then my first workout store, everybody was like, oh, you're doing, prison workouts out there, man. I'm just, putting bricks in a backpack and doing push-ups.
Are you half black by any chance? Because you're big for a Filipino guy.
Do I?
You got. Are you full Filipino?
Full Filipino.
You got your people listening here just yo, full Filipino, 100%.
No, but
also my guy too. I usually clarify this before, but just open yourself up a little bit chest-wise to the camera.
Yeah, my guy. The gains too.
Exactly.
Right?
Let him see that chest. Do you shave that chest, my dude?
Bro, there's nothing to shave, man.
Okay,
nothing there.
Right.
I'm full Filipino, like I said, right?
100%. It's adding up.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're a big Filipino, my guy.
You know what? I get that a lot. You go to fam jams, I'm the tallest one in my fam. I like to say 6 feet, but more, technically 5'11". Just round it. You know what I'm saying? Just round it.
I had a whole bit that 5'11" is a myth. That if someone is 5'11", they'll say they're 6 feet. You know what I mean?
It is, bro. You got to round it, man.
No one's really 5'11". If you say you're 5'11", you're 5'10". Or 5'10".
Yeah.
5'11". Fuck that.
It's a tricky one, but yeah, for a Filipino, it's
I've had Big Norm, Keith Pedro. Shout out to the boys. They all here. Mad talent. In a small package. You know what I'm talking about? You rolled up. I thought it would have been the same. Damn, this boy is I may have to square up against this.
How tall do you think I was?
5'9"?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had to, 5'8", 5'9". If I didn't put a number to it in my head, but yeah.
If you saw my dad, he's literally 5'3", 5'4". My mom's the same height, and it's
isn't that crazy? You could make bigger kids.
Yo, everybody teases my dad. They're like, "Yo, that's not your son, man. There's no way he do that. That's not your kid, bro. It's weird." Bro.
Your dad have an accent?
He's probably the best uncle that speaks English the best. It's weird. He's me and him are the least cultured Filipinos there are. We're into we're not really.
You guys can't sing. You don't do karaoke.
I can sing, I just can't sing well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's horrible. I'll score a 70 in karaoke. I'm not even that good with it, man. But
I didn't even know karaoke scored you.
Yo, we do it. The way we do it is it's usually 90 is a good score, and then a 70 is what I be hitting. But
the software will be you matched it this much.
At the end, it'll be tally the score, how well you matched it on the thing. But it's just yeah, bro. I'm not with it, bro. I'm just not Filipino like that.
Yeah.
I'm
Are you even Filipino? It says it at the end.
I guess I am
not Filipino.
I guess I am half black,
Dude, that's so funny. I bet in the Philippines, the Manila airport, the additional screening, they probably have a karaoke setup. They're you're saying you were born here, huh? You must achieve a score of 95 to prove it. And I will always love you. You're fucking up there bringing the.
I would fail, man. Like I'm not even like super into Filipino food that much either. But I get the appeal though. Like I get why people like it, but I just never have been super drawn to it. I've been more into like Vietnamese or Korean food. But like
okay, or as long as you stay the Asian,
I'm still the same continent. Yeah,
exactly. If you were about to say like, you know, I'm on that pot roast, you know, and I'm on that
meatloaf.
Chicken, yeah, I'm on that chicken pot pie, you know.
Yeah. No, we have.
I've been like, I like those, bro, but shit, this is the immigrant section. I gotta throw some shit your way, you know.
You're from Sudan though, right?
I'm from Sudan, yeah.
I've never had like cuisine from there. Like I don't have too many friends from there. I think I have about one, but
it's the cuisine of struggle.
Is it really?
Actually, the people that were just here were asking me about Sudanese food. Real good, but again, it's like, you know, like a lot of these African cuisines and like South American cuisines are like are well, especially areas that don't have like crazy amounts of vegetation. They're like built out of like limited resources. So there's a lot of rice, a lot of stews.
It's like making the best out of what you have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Very tasty stuff because they really like take advantage of spices and shit like that. But I don't try to make any Sudani stuff except for ful, which is like ful, which is fava beans.
Fava beans.
Which is staple Sudani and Masri and Egyptian thing. Is like, if you ever go to like an Egyptian brunch place or something, or any of these restaurants, they'll have food. Just like if you want to impress them, like, y'all got food? Like, damn, this boy knows. Yeah, they're like, we were gonna give you this garbage. We're bringing it from the back for you.
Right.
But it's fava beans, like half boiled, so they're kind of like getting mushy. You break them up. You put cumin, salt, pepper, chili powder, and then like it gets real good. You serve it with olive oil. And you eat it with pita bread, and a lot of people put feta cheese in it. A lot of
feta cheese in there? Really?
A lot of people put feta cheese. I like to put scrambled eggs. A lot of people, now you got the egg bean. Now you're getting like protein overload. You know, for you with that prison workout you've been doing, bro.
Yeah, man.
You'd be eating food and eggs all day.
Is it healthy more times? Because like I know with Filipino food, like the street food isn't really the best for you.
It's just the amount of oil they put in. You know what I mean? They drench
most,
it in the oil, but if they pull the oil back, it's just usually served with a lot of oil. But the food, it's just straight up beans and spices. It's mad healthy, but like they hit it with a lot of that oil. And that's I think that's probably like I haven't seen calories on food ever, so I don't know, and I don't like watch that stuff, but I can't imagine it's crazy healthy, you know?
So if I meet a Sudanese girl, I'll be like, yo, can you make food?
Bro.
It's over, right?
Bro. You never even have to have food. Like just know
pretend what it
food
is
a thing, and know that Egyptians and Sudanese people, like, you'll get immediate credit, like, yeah, immediate credit.
I feel like it's the chicken adobo for us. Like, if you know, I don't know if
Norm. No, I'm about to learn it though.
Oh yeah, like, so I don't know. I swear Norm would have told you, but like chicken adobo is like
Norm. If you're watching this, you fucked up, bro. You embarrassed me in front of the Filipinos, dog. This boy scoring 70. He even knows the chicken adobo.
Norm can sing though.
No. I'm saying Norm hits 100. I'm talking about you, bro. I'm saying you even know the chicken adobo.
Yeah, bro. It's like the most common one. It's just like chicken with rice and some vinegar and soy sauce with it. But it's like one of the few dishes that I do like. But yeah.
Is it I rejected a lot of the Sudanese stuff growing up because I was over at my friends' houses and shit, and it just made me feel African. You know, when you're younger, I just wanted to be fucking Canadian so badly. I just wanted to not be an immigrant so badly. Even though I had no accent. I came here when I was in grade 1, 6 years old, right?
Right.
Well, by the way, were your parents born here? Or?
No, they're born in Philippines.
Okay, they're born.
But I was born here, yeah.
Did they ever take your ass back?
No, bro. This is proof that I'm not that Filipino. I've never even been to the homeland. Like, not even once, bro.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah.
Yeah, before the artwork.
Yeah.
Because the artwork's at the end. But like, I was born there.
Yeah.
Came here when I was 6. And then like, London, Ontario. We were just talking about how you dated a girl in London. Think about London, Ontario.
Right.
Putting this African kid in first grade in London, Ontario. Recess, you know? All I wanted to be was... I just wanted a cottage. I wanted to get on a sea-doo. I wanted to have the fucking do you remember the toboggans going down sleds? The GTs? Bro, all I had was magic carpets from Goodwill.
Plank of wood going down.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Everyone
bro.
else has the GT with the full steering wheel, and I attributed all those things, generally privilege and like you know, being there a while and your parents are established.
Yeah.
I attributed all that to like whiteness.
Right.
So I just always had a chip on my shoulder about being like, I just want.
You
So I
wanted that,
rejected Sudanese food. I wanted, you know, the fast food. I wanted the pot roast over that. And then as I get older, I'm like I stopped. Once I started stand up,
Right.
and like the podcast and everything, not even the podcast, but stand up, and I really like left corporate world. I really like flipped things around and was like, okay, you can't spend 20 years running from this thing that you are.
Yeah.
Let's begin embracing this fucking shit, you know?
It's true. I feel like a lot of people had the same thing because, like, I don't know if you can relate, right? You ever be in class and it's lunchtime, right? Everybody opens up their meatloaf. Everybody opens up their ham sandwich. Open up. It's some next, intricate smelling food, and everybody turns and looks at you, and they're like, "What is that? What is that? What's that? What lunch you got there?" And you have to kind of explain it, right?
Yeah, dude. That's how I begged my mom for Dunkaroos. You know what I mean? Begged her for Dunkaroos because then I would bring out the snack first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even eat a lot of my food around people. I kind of just eat the main weird thing that I
Low
don't even,
key, right?
Like I would be so in my head. Like this is why I feel like this is like all this anxiety has prepped me into this world of comedy and observation and stuff.
Right.
Because I'd be so in my head, I wouldn't even open it. I know there'd be confrontation involved. I'd eat it over there. I'd eat the main weird thing, the pita bread with some fucking shit in there. I'd eat it over there, bro. I'd beg for $2 because it's pizza slice night today at lunch. So give me the $2 so I can just get a slice of pizza.
Did you ever get? My dukes were like always like, it's so expensive. My dad's always like, you can go to Little Caesars, get a full pizza for the same price.
That's the way to do it, right? He's like, I don't want a full pizza.
I want this, bro. I want to
You're wasting the rest of the pizza. Like, I don't want that much food. I'll pay for less. Like,
yeah, man. I don't know.
But yeah, that shit. Like, so that's the power of the snack game when you're a kid, because that it's like prison, like cigarettes in prison, you know? Because now the like getting fruit roll-ups and Dunkaroos, that is how I bought Canadianhood. It's like, now I'm with my boys. Now I got Dunkaroos. Now I'm in the fucking in the conversation. At least, right?
Yeah. You can have a 1-2 trade. You know, I'll give you my fruit gushers for the Dunkaroos, and you're like, yo, they're
exactly.
I'm with it now, right?
Exactly. And it's just, and then like you're weird deep down. Like, bro, if I had to talk to my mom in like Arabic,
right?
You know what I mean? I would like pull her way away from anybody.
Right.
I wouldn't speak Arabic in front of like these kids.
Right.
Because I just want, it's almost like I'm building a persona of like just a fucking thoroughbred Canadian kid. Like I didn't want them to hear me speak a foreign language.
They'd ask, and then they'd ask like,
it's not even, like, and they don't even have a problem with it. Everything I thought was in my head. Looking back, no one was ever like, what kind of nigger mud language you talking, boy? No one ever said anything like that. No one ever said anything like that. It was all in my head. Like, if I speak this, then I'm different, and they'll treat me. It's all these like things of trying to survive when there's no map.
Right.
You know, I just hit down. My siblings, they're doing grade 3 for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm in grade 1. No one is like, we're all learning it as we go. So I'm just like, different is bad. Be the same as everyone.
Well, how was the demographic though in class? Like, was it mostly white or like?
Oh yeah. I was like the one black kid.
You're like the token.
I was the one black kid. Yeah, I was the immigrant. There was one Mexican kid.
Damn.
I went to a school called Woodford Jury. Shout out to Jury. And I grew up in a neighborhood that I had a lot of black kids. But coincidentally, I had a lot of people 1 year above me, 1 year below me. Just in my grade, all of the people in the hood that lived with me, they were always 1 grade above and 1 grade below. So I was always the one black kid in the classes.
That sucks,
you know?
man. That's rough.
It was just, and I was like, I liked it. You know what I mean? I embraced it. Like, when I went to Waterloo for school, I saw how multicultural it was. And I realized, oh, this is amazing, because like, you don't have to hide. You don't have to That's when I really began to embrace my culture. But before, I was like, I'm different. You know, like I'm such a class clown that like I was like, like I'm the one or something.
Did you ever feel like it was kind of because like I can relate in the same way, except I went to a school called Cataraqui Public School. Shout out Cataraqui. But like I was the like
your camera's not on, by the way. I'm just kidding.
I was like, damn, we got to do the whole thing over here.
Yeah.
I was the only, like, virtually the only Asian in my public school, but there was a lot of black kids, a lot of white kids, and brown kids, right? So
Where's this? What city?
Ajax.
Ajax.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
just
yeah.
out there, out of the
Just
mix.
out there. I can't even add on to. There's not much to say
not as
about
bad
it.
as Whitby, but Ajax, right?
It's all right. Yeah. You know,
Not quite Whitby. This is that Toronto talk for all you not international listeners.
it's not. I don't think it's as bad as Whitby. Yeah.
No,
like,
it's
I feel
not.
like
For sure it's
Whitby's there's not much to do
Yeah.
there. But yeah, no, I was the only Asian, like relatively, and like you started being okay with being the token because, like, you know, whenever. You're just that guy. You kind of stand out, right? Sometimes you like the attention.
There's
right?
something nice about it, even if it's not for the best reason. Right?
Exactly. And
At least I'm different in this way, even though I'm the only one who looks like this, but I'm not going to stand up in this class and be like, I would have, if someone,
Right.
bro, sorry to even cut you off,
No,
but
go ahead.
the most one, to put you into the mindset of where I was at, when I was in 6th grade, we got Canadian citizenship. And I snuck away. I told my teacher, I got to take a day off, blah, blah, blah. And when we were at the sworn-in ceremony, when you get citizenship, you got to go and like swear into Canada.
Yeah.
They announced that I was at it. And when I came back to class, like it was literally like 12-1. So like I left one class and I
Yeah.
came back to like homeroom.
Right.
And my one buddy was like, yo, congrats. My buddy Kevin Graham, shout out till this day. And he got me a welcome to our Canada keychain. And I was so embarrassed, bro. I just remember being so fucking embarrassed that they announced it. Damn. Like, fuck. How did they announce that shit? Like, I wanted the illusion that I'm like, I didn't want the illusion.
And you did it low key too. You didn't even tell people.
No,
about
I told
it, right?
no one. I
Yeah.
was truly embarrassed. Truly. And when I found out they announced it, I'm like, fuck, why'd they announce that shit? Imagine that mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's tricky.
Was it like that for you?
Nah, it was like, I'll tell you what though, in high school, because like in Ajax High, like it wasn't that diverse either, right? And like I remember for a grade 12 prank, we did, every year, every high school does like a prank at the end of the year, right? In high school.
Per the movies.
Yeah, exactly. We tried to, and it's funny because ours is so cliche. We did like a food fight, right?
That's all. I've never been part of a food fight. Always wanted to.
That was my only one. And it was dope, right? So like literally all the grade 12s were like, at the start, they're like, yo, we're going to do a food fight. Like, we'll everybody get your lunch, throw it across the table and just like, have a food fight. And I remember like so many people did it, right? In the cafeteria. And everybody participated. Everybody's throwing food, blah, blah, blah. And everybody ran out. And the teachers couldn't see who was involved. You can't punish the people because like everybody was doing it and you couldn't pinpoint.
You can single out anyone.
Exactly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I'm like, nobody's worried about getting suspended. Nobody's worried about getting in trouble. I go to my 4th period class, and then I hear an announcement. They're like, can Joshua Dacucos come to the office? I'm like, okay, word. I go to the office. The principal's like, we know you participated in the food fight. We saw your yellow fried rice on the floor.
No.
Swear. And I was suspended from that. And I'm like, they were right. I'm not gonna lie. They were right. They're right. They're right.
Okay, so we'll give them that.
Yeah,
but
they were
let's
right.
explore this.
Come on, come on, man.
Yo, in a court of law, that's that's garbage. That's nothing. Joshua, look at me, Joshua. We saw the what is it? Chicken. What's it called? Chicken.
So
what's it called?
I had like this yellow fried rice all the time.
Yeah.
And it was I feel like it was kind of iconic. So fair point to them. But like, you can't like tell like one of the only Asian kids like, yo, we saw yellow fried rice on the floor. You're suspended. That's our proof for you.
Did they suspend anybody else?
They suspended like a few other kids. Like
Yeah,
some
they
other
brought the black kid in. We saw the fried chicken. Jamal, we saw the fried chicken.
dude.
This hurts us more than it hurts you, buddy. You're cut up. They come in, Steven, we saw the pot pie. Like, this is the most. They did 1 by 1 stereotype. Like,
Dude,
that's crazy. Did it blow your mind?
Yeah, but they were right, so I didn't fight. I'm like,
But still,
but it's
that's
like,
so
you can't
weird.
just do that,
There's so
man.
many levels to that because on one
is.
level, they're right. On another level, you're like, fuck, that's fucked up and racist. On another level, you're like, damn, they know me so well that they know the food I'm eating. Like,
That's what I'm
this is a
saying.
very personable school on that level.
yeah.
There's so many mixed feelings. Like, you went back to class and grabbed your shit and
I left. Yeah,
From
man.
that mo-
yeah, like, I went and then I took my stuff. I went home. Wow. It's just like that, man. And I was gonna say, like, have you experienced like anything like that? Because like I know it seemed like everybody treated you well.
I've had, like the type of racism I've dealt with was like, I've had it very good compared to all these horror stories I've heard.
Word.
And I think it's because I wasn't I wasn't that social justice kid. I wasn't the kid trying to make a difference. I wasn't brave. I wasn't courageous. I just wanted to make people laugh. I just wanted. It's like if they're laughing, they're not thinking that I'm different. If they're laughing, they're not worried about where I'm from.
That's the origin
If they're
story.
laughing, then they don't. Then it doesn't matter that I'm going to Limberlost and like, you know what I mean. No one ever comes. I go to everybody's house. No one ever comes to my house. I don't let anybody come to my house.
Right.
Because when you come into my house, there's Quran playing loud and there's smoke because my mom's doing this Sudani incense shit. I was so embarrassed by all this shit. So embarrassed. So it's like, you're trying to like cultivate a persona, you know what I mean? That's not true to you, but you're like, this is how I will survive. This is how I will adapt in this new environment.
It was just trying to get by at that point.
Yeah.
More times.
Legit. But like straight up racism, I remember in like 3rd or 4th grade, some white dude, some weird white dude. We're all playing. We're kids. We're all like 8, 9. And he let his dog out and he goes, sick the black one to the dog. And we're all running. And like, I remember like not even thinking that it was, I didn't even know what sick meant. I was 3 years into Canada. You know what I mean? Like, get the black kid, right?
Right, yeah.
And one of the kids next to me was like, he said this. And so when we were telling an adult about what happened, like I guess he got in trouble, but I was like, he said sick the black one, like, because he told me that it was racist. I didn't even know.
Yeah, like, that's racist.
I didn't register it as racism. Right. But like, just I can't really pinpoint too much stuff. I was a gifted kid. I was in all the gifted programs.
I was so jealous of you guys because you guys they'd be getting called into the class like, could the gifted kids come and do the thing? I'm like, bro, are we doing a test right now?
Yeah, I would have walked out of the class. Hi, stupid fucks. You know, I'm gonna go get them. We're all just getting our dicks sucked over there. We ain't even learned this shit. We already learned this shit 3 years ago. Y'all niggas ain't shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, I was like a little nerd. You know what I mean? I was a little, for sure, because like that's the to get real personal.
Right.
I have 5 siblings, a family of 8 people.
Yeah.
And I was in the middle.
Okay.
So the way I was like, I'm gonna get love is I'm gonna exceed academically, excel.
I hear that.
Not exceed.
I hear that.
I'm in the middle. How am I gonna get love? I'm gonna fucking kill school. You know what I mean? So it's not even that I truly wanted to do well or do any of these things. I just knew that if I got 100%, they smiled and they were happy. They were like, I got that good feeling. If I got the closest to 100% I can get on these things, they were happy. You know what I mean?
That's real.
But so I didn't care. I was like, I got to do that. But like in like the school world, I'm like this whole different guy. You know, because at home I'm like all quiet. It's disciplinary Muslim household.
It's strict. It's strict at home, yeah.
I'm like, look, I have 96 today. Good. Okay, all right. I'm gonna fuck up. You know what I mean? And at class, like, I'm getting moved all 12 years, grade 1 to 12. The one standard theme of my schooling is I'm getting moved every second. Every day they move me.
For the gifted stuff?
No. Like, he's talking with that kid next to him. Move him again. No matter who they move me next to, you just hear in that corner of the thing, shut up. Like, it doesn't matter where they move.
Were you in the front of the class? Like, more times? Like,
eventually they would put me, like, you know, remember science class? How they would have the benches where you do Bunsen burners and stuff?
Yeah.
Eventually, like in grade 11, they put my table behind all the kids' tables are in the middle, and mine was in the.
You were that kid.
Yeah, and I had the top. I won the chemistry award and everything. Like,
I
was like the top kid, but like I was sitting back there because I was disrupting the classes with these jokes. You know, I couldn't stop. Nigga, right? I couldn't stop.
That's like a main character trope, though. You know what I mean? Like, he's like a genius kid, but he's like the funniest in class. So
that is
like
super egotistical to say it myself. And imagine I was like, what I didn't even realize was that was a genius trope. Imagine I said that.
I'll say it for you.
I was on that Sasuke shit, yo.
You know, man. You know.
No, but like that was all just straight up coping mechanisms, bro.
That's crazy.
But you know what is different though, and I've noticed a lot of people like, especially like a lot of the guys who are like first generation, like yourself.
Yeah.
You guys did you come with families? Do you have cousins here?
I have a lot.
Exactly.
A lot, yeah, a whole bunch.
So my family, we came alone. I have no cousins in this country.
Really?
Not one. No one came. We came by ourselves. So it's like
That's
existing in this. But when you come when you got cousins around, you can still have this like sick, like you have a, what's it called? Like a, I was going to say, a structure, so to speak, you know, like reinforcement, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like social reinforcement.
Right. It's tricky to say that too, because like I can kind of relate in terms of getting the approval, but like for me, it was with my cousins. Like a lot of the time, I would say I'm viewed as the black sheep because my cousins are all smart, like they're killing it, and they had good grades, especially my
a lot of them nurses.
No, really enough, none of them actually. None of them.
Oh shit!
No, one of them actually. One of them.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
I lied. There has to be
Actually, two.
Actually, all. Actually, all.
Wait, yeah.
No, but they've always been killing it, and I remember there was just one fam jam we had. My grandma would go around and like she'd guess what everybody's gonna end up being, but I remember she'd say like, "Oh, lawyer, blah blah blah," and then I forgot what she said for me. But
she's like unemployed,
or just skips me or whatever. Yeah, like, and I remember for a long time I was like, man, like I gotta switch up, man. I gotta get my act together, and I couldn't blame him because like, there was a point in my life where I wasn't doing much.
Yeah.
And then, I wanted approval too. Like I wanted approval from my fam because I know they'd always brag about my little brother because he had really good grades. And then, you know, they'd kind of say one, two cool thing about me, but it was never like something that I knew they were like, yo, he's killing it.
Yeah.
But then that's what inspired me. Like I also hustled hard in school. And
did you end up going to like graphic design school?
Yeah.
You went fully that way.
Fully, man.
So you finished high school, you're fucking lingering or what?
I finished high school and then I took a program at Centennial called product design, but it wasn't like, it was the first year they launched it. So we were like the guinea pigs. And
for the international people, Centennial is where you go to be unemployed. I'm just kidding, fuck with you. I don't even know anything about Centennial.
Bro, neither do I. And I went there, man. I don't even, I was barely.
I got a student card on me.
I flopped on that and then I went into graphic design and then I finished it. But honestly, like school was never for me. I finished it so I can get like corporate jobs after.
Yeah.
And it looks good on your resume. But honestly, it was just never for me, man. Like I just did it my own way. Like I'd miss a lot of class and I'd do well. Like I do the assignments. And
why graphic design too?
I've always been the art kid, man. Like, yeah, you know, like if a teacher is like, oh, you know, we need a poster or like, oh, we have a new art project, every head would turn around and look at me. I'd say most of the time, you know, and I was like,
yo, that's that artistic trope right
there. That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So like, you know, it was always there. And like, you know, at a point where I was going to be like, oh, I should go into something safe or should I take a risk and do what I love?
Do you remember what you were thinking like in safe? Were you,
like,
I do. I'm not to fuck around with nursing, but like, were you like, I'm definitely not going to be medicine shit. It can't.
Dude, I didn't even consider medicine because at the time, like my grades were really not that good. Okay. So I was gonna.
Wasn't an option.
Yeah, it wasn't an option. I did horrible in like the sciences and stuff like that too. So I was like, you know what? My dad's like, yo, you should try to be an electrician or whatever. And like that, there's good money there, right? And it's dope, and you could get a secure job. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll do it. And then after, I was like, you know what? Like, bro, that's my whole life, man. Like,
yeah.
I'm sure you can relate to with comedy and stuff. Like, you got to do what you love. And I feel like I'm happy I took the risk and bet on myself. You know, paid off. You had
the clairvoyance, like, to go with it first. I was like on that momentum of like approval so hard that I got the engineering degree and did 3 years of engineering.
Did you?
Yeah, bro. I was an engineer for 3 years. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before, and the last year I was doing open mics at night, but it took 2 years of me, like, and I hated school.
Yeah.
But I couldn't be honest with myself, you know? I was like, if I don't become an engineer, then what the fuck is the point of my life almost? This weird thing, like, it's like I'm going to disappoint them. I haven't met the thing.
Right.
So much pressure.
Right.
Unrealistic, right? But I had to do the thing to realize this isn't for me. And I'm like, so, like, inspired and like awestruck by people like you that were like, could in advance be like, nah.
It's still crazy like that, you know what I mean, that you still made the call. Like, was it like a particular moment that you're like, that happened like while you were, you know, in school and you're like, you know what, this ain't it? Or was it just like a thing you were wrestling with the whole time?
School, I used to ask my friends. I used to be like, I was such a prick with my friends that like all through schooling, I'd be like, like learning is for bitches. You know what I mean? Like I would never go to class and I would just like take an Adderall 48 hours before an exam and learn everything. And it's all gone 1 hour after the exam.
Really?
I'll just cram everything in my head, put it on that paper, and it's gone. And I would keep doing that until I got the marks and to get the piece of paper. That's it. Yeah. It was just like, means to defy or ends to defy the means. Whatever the fuck the saying is, all right? Fuck it.
I think, yeah, I got you.
Like, half the show is we just fuck up these idioms and adages, you know? It's the ends that define the when in Rome, you know what I mean? But yeah, I didn't like it the whole time, but I wasn't honest with myself. I had to really do the job,
right?
And the enormity of 30-year career began to settle in.
Yeah,
doing that job for a couple of years was like, oh my god. Because to be honest with you, I thought that I was working in the States for 3 years.
Oh, word.
And the first 2.5 years was in Detroit in the automotive industry.
Word.
And then I was so unhappy. I'm like, it's Michigan. It's Michigan. That's the problem. I'll go to California. I'll be happy. So I get a job in like the Bay Area tech industry, right? Like Silicon Valley. Yeah.
You lived there?
Oh yeah, for
okay.
like almost a year. I did like, that's where like I really got my intro chops to stand up. Because there's a really good scene, more so than Detroit.
I'd assume.
It's real nice. It's similar to Toronto. But once I got that job, I realized, it was way better in Michigan. Okay. This is a nightmare. Like these tech startup open concept, we're all a team, but you're all fired tomorrow. You know what I mean?
The workload, like the
everything. It's like the work culture of working in excess and not being paid for it, and smiling and being dedicated. And I was a consultant to a company, so I wasn't even like, when you're a consultant at a company, that like a lot of startups, what they do is they're so small, they don't want to hire all these full-time people because then they have to pay for their benefits and stuff. It's expensive.
Right. Yeah.
So what they do is they go to companies like there's my company, there's other ones called Mind Tribe and stuff like that, and they hire a couple mechanical engineers, a couple developers, and they're just paying a monthly salary for these people as contractors.
Right.
Now, that company has contractors and full-time employees in this office. Okay. And there's a first-class, second-class citizen vibe thing happening here. The first-class citizens, the full-time employees, I need time off. I'm feeling burnt out. Okay, of course. We have to think about your longevity, right?
Right,
yeah.
right.
The contractors, I need time off. I'm feeling burnt off. No. We were told that we'd be given 5 months of coverage. So had we known that you needed vacation, we wouldn't have approved. Like, and then you tell your company, hey, I want my vacation. They'll be like, the client has to approve it. So I got into that. I didn't even know that existed until I was in that. And I'm like, I'm going to kill myself. This is a total fucking nightmare.
That sounds horrible. How long did you survive that for?
Like 5-6 months. And like I demanded to be taken off of the account. So the company fired me. And that company bankrupt a month later. Well, they pivoted.
Let's call it bankrupt.
Yeah, and fired many like fucking people that were with them since the beginning, right? So all that bullshit, I had to see that to be like, okay. And at this point, I love stand-up, right? And I've always loved stand-up.
Right. I
was always that guy. I just never had that immigrant mentality of like, this isn't a career. You can't build a future with this stuff. Only Chappelle and the Burr and these fucking truly innately talented humans can do the rock stars. You know what I mean? You can't look at Bruno Mars and be like, I want to do that. No, you can't do that. He's was born gifted. You know what I mean? Like it's so easy to tell yourself that stuff. Yeah. And then once you do something you hate for so long, you hit a wall where you're like, oh God, bro, this can't continue.
Did you ever have, cause like, yeah, there's the first part of like, you know, making the decision to leave what you're doing and do what you love. But I feel like there's a second part where it's like, when you do what you love, did you ever run into a point where like you doubted yourself? Like, man, did I make the right call? Like, it isn't looking too good right now, or like
all the time. I just did a show yesterday where I had that thought.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Yeah, all the time, bro. I have those thoughts all the time. Like I still, this whole dream has not come to fruition by any means or even come close. So I'm always having that thought. But how I wake up these days is not at all comparable to what it was those years. Nothing compares. And I make a fraction of what I used to make, and it's a grind now. But life is just so much better in a way. It's like I had this angst inside me of like, even before I confronted myself being like, you can't do this forever. Right. I had an angst inside being like, this is good, but what's next? This can't be it. You know, like, and it wasn't a conscious thought. It was just this thing inside of like, it was almost like being in a foreign country and having a good time, and you know you got to be home, but you don't have a flight back yet.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, I gotta book a flight.
It's just
I gotta
lingering
get that
there.
flight.
Yeah.
And you're like just having a good time. And you're like, oh, I gotta get home. I gotta book that flight needs to get booked. You know what I mean? And like, you don't know how to book a flight. Let's say in this scenario, you don't even know how to book a flight. So it's like, that is all gone.
Yeah.
That's all gone. And now it's just financial worries,
Yeah, I mean,
which are way better and way easier to consume than that existential angst.
That's passion, man. That's passion, man. Like, and especially with stand up too, though. Like, you have to respect it, because like if you do stand up and it doesn't go well, like, you face the consequence then and there, right? So it's like you need to have thick skin. If some nights you're gonna do well, some nights you're not gonna do well. But it's like, I could never, man. Like, I always tell like my best friends, I'm like, don't make me your best man, because I'm too scared to give a best man speech. And it's literally like, I feel like it's like a stand-up set. You know what I mean? It's tricky. It's a lot. It takes a lot of confidence to go out and do that stuff, man.
But as an artist, I think you can also appreciate that. Like, don't you want, if you are dealing with a client, don't you want the feedback as soon as possible?
I do.
Right?
Definitely.
So it's the best. I love it. It sucks. It's ripping the Band-Aid off. But having that immediate gratitude of, okay, this is good. You're onto something, or not this. Not this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Don't you hate when you're waiting on feedback from someone and they take forever? And then it's like bad feedback. Nothing is worse than when someone gives you bad feedback and they take forever to give it to you. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, we could have iterated and been done this already. Like, so knowing you and how you operate, because when I started working with you, I've worked with other graphic designers, but the way you worked was very impressive. You impressed me. Just the way you sent me that Google document of like, you send a Google folder of like inspiration. You're like, over the next couple of weeks, if you see anything that inspires you, drop it into that folder. I'm like, damn, bro, this guy's got a fucking system down, yo. This is sick.
Try, man. I try.
I'm saying I've worked with a lot of people. Nobody does it like that, where it's like you speak in a way where it's, and your work is just clean. Your work is good.
That.
Like, you're just a higher level dude. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it. I feel like with art, it's just like I consider it an extension of me and like kind of, my craft, right? So if I put bad stuff out, like, and I'll try not to, then it's just like, oh, he's lazy. If it looks lazy, then they're gonna think I'm a lazy person, obviously, right? So like with everything I do, like I try to make sure I put it, like I take care of it, and I make sure the client's happy too. Because like at the end of the day, like I feel like I'm a people pleaser. So like especially when it comes to clients,
like artists, we kind of are.
We
love to be like, I don't give a fuck, but we're the most people pleasers.
Exactly, right? You try your best to make it seem like, yeah, no, I don't care.
We'll
like,
wear a shirt that says like "fuck your opinion," but like everything we're doing is based on like maximizing mass approval.
Literally, do you like the shirt? Like, do you like the shirt I'm wearing?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's tricky, man. But I think, I would prefer the criticism immediately
up front.
Yeah, but I like, I'm still working on myself to take it. Sometimes I'm
same. Sometimes I'm not ready for it. But still, if I have if you have a setting for life, feedback immediately or feedback eventually?
Immediately.
You know what I mean? You're like, let's go immediately, right?
And you get it on the good end too. Like if you kill a set, right? It's just like I'm sure it's a high, right? Like I've seen interviews with Chappelle and like, the big comedians. It's like one of the best feelings ever is just literally just being there and getting a great laugh, and the joke hits perfectly. And like, I'm sure like you've had a lot of moments.
Of course. But like as your career progresses and you gain further mastery of your art, that feedback becomes consistently better and better and better. Like across the board.
Right.
There's some years from now where it's like you as a graphic designer in your 50s probably won't be doing a project with someone where they saw your work, were like, I like what you do. This is what we're going for. You're like, I can make that for you. You go back and forth, and at the end they go, this is terrible. What the fuck? What the fuck is this garbage? That's probably not gonna happen. That could happen now, maybe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's the likelihood of that happening decreases the more you stay in this game and the more you become a master at your craft, right?
I agree. Yeah.
So for better or for worse, I'd rather get the feedback immediately, just so I can adjust off the cuff or whatever. I want to know now.
Facts.
What I want to know is, did your family know graphic design? Did you have any cousins or uncles who were like, oh, your uncle Bit. I don't know if that's a Filipino name. Yo, Bit, that's my nigga right there, yo. No, but like, is that a thing? That's a thing that's like,
Dude, till this day, like, so like technically,
what do you
like, what do you do?
Joshua?
Like technically, an art director, right? Like that's also another job I have. And then I can call one of my parents right now and be like, do you know what an art director does? And they'll probably just say, you know, do you direct art? Like that's probably like the closest thing. And it's such a
The funny thing is, I don't even know.
Sometimes
I'm fully employed in like artistic gains. We'll say I don't even know what an art director.
Bro, literally, you ask people. People have such different definitions with it too. So like, I wouldn't blame them, but they do now though. Like they've seen like, they probably like after they saw my first few billboards and stuff. They're like, oh, you make billboards. Like you make art on advertisements on big stuff, on trucks, on stuff like that. So it's like they get it now. But at the start, they were like kind of. They're obviously worried with it and they didn't know. But
it's funny you say that because do you know Ernie Vicente, another Filipino comedian?
No.
Hilarious. He's a me and him are the two comedians who've been on billboards and have bits about it.
Oh yeah,
because that arrival, it's funny even when you make the billboard. Because being on a billboard and when you make the billboard, those are for immigrant parents. Those are arrival moments. And being on a billboard for McDonald's random sandwich has nothing to do with stand-up comedy. At all. Has nothing to do with talent. That's just a black face. McDonald's was like, that's good for representing our corporate interests.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
That's it. Now bite this burger 20 times. We're going to get a good picture and we're going to put this all over Canada. But when they have something they could physically, like tangibly see and be able to point at, you've arrived. The questions, that bought me 3 years. And that was 2018. The questions are only starting again now. You know what I mean? That bought me 3 years.
If they can show it off to the aunties,
exactly,
it's a wrap.
That's
if
what
they
it's
can put
about.
On Facebook, it's a flex
brag game. It's a
flex
flex game. Exactly.
That's how it is, man. So I remember I put it share, and then my mom was like, "Oh, she's so happy that she like send me the picture so I could show everybody and stuff like that." So I agree, man. It's like literally when it's tangible and they could see it, then
that's how
you made it, man.
What I want to know is like when you get out of like a graphic design program, what do you do? Because there's a graphic design and web developers and real estate agents. Those are things that are like the market is fucking flooded with those people, right? And there's a lot of graphic designers, real estate agents, and and the list goes on of things that are like you can do a 6-month course or you can be self-taught and do it out of just trying to get money. Like, you need that made? Oh, I can, you know what I mean? There's that, and then there's people like, I love this thing. How do you beat the noise and become like that signal that makes its way through the noise,
It's tricky, man. Like even going back to the first point, it's just like when it came to school, firstly, like I wasn't even like near the end of the program, like I wasn't even attending class. I was actually like working. Like I was like during the program, I was applying to places because I was so worried of that happening. Like what if I graduate and I can't find the right job, or like I won't find work and I have to go through all this competition and stuff, right? So I started applying for stuff like literally during the program. And then when I got jobs and internships, I went to school and I went to work as well. Like I was juggling both, and it was so hard, but it paid off. But it put me ahead of some of my classmates. And then by the time
quick, I gotta know, when you were in your class, could you already tell that like you got it a little bit more than some of these kids? Like, did you go to class and then looked around and then stopped going to class? Is that what happened? Like you're like, I think I'm good to do this at my own pace.
It's art though, right? So it's so subjective, and I'll never look at like George Brown had so much talent and still does have a lot of talent. So I'll go to class and I'll never be like I'm better than these people. But I'll always be
I'm better than these.
No, like not even. But also, but I'm working harder. I'm working harder.
Yeah.
Because
gotcha.
like I'll go to class and then I know everybody's going home just because like they're my friends. But like, no, I got work after. Like I'm always doing something, and that's something that was clear. But there's a lot of kids that made me look like I wasn't working hard. There's kids that like doing some crazy stuff. So you'll never feel like. If you always compare to, like, you'll never feel happy, but it's a tricky situation. But
yeah, because it is. It's same with comedy, because in comedy, people measure it by the number of sets you're doing a week or the number of audience members you're in front of a week. You know what I mean? There's hard metrics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hard metrics that it's like you can just qualify your expertise based on those metrics.
Right.
Or you could be like, yo, I know that so-and-so did 15 sets this week. I did 8, but I fucking finally got that bit to work. I feel good. Yeah. I've like touched on these other things in my life, because before COVID, I was prioritizing comedy over all things in life, period.
Oh, yeah.
No ifs, ands, or buts. You know what I mean? And COVID was actually a blessing for the fact that it reminded me that you don't need to do comedy 7 nights a week. In fact, it's better you don't do comedy 7 nights a week.
The quality
I would have
will go
angst.
up.
Yeah, because you need to have. It's like a bodybuilder trying to get to Mr. Olympia and going to the gym seven times a week. It's like
It's true.
you're probably going 6 or 5. You
true.
gotta rest. You have
It's
to
true.
fucking rest. You know what I mean?
It's true.
And I didn't put any value on that. And now it's like, yo, I'll have to doing shows. And now in my calendar, I'll try to put in chill dates with my friends.
Yeah.
Like, yo, like later tonight, I'm meeting up with a bunch of friends. I'm fucking
Nice.
amped. It's a
Nice.
Saturday. Like,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be a show night, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah.
ain't got shows. And someone hit me up, an artist hit me up on Instagram, like, yo, I'm doing a live listening for my EP. I love your shit. I thought it'd be sick to put some jokes. I'm like, yo, that's sick, but I'm hanging out with the boys tonight. You know what I mean? And before COVID, I would have hit the boys up, be like, yo, I'm out. I'm out, boys. You know what I mean? That fucking, that stage time came hollering at me. You know what I mean? And like if Chappelle was in town and I could open for him, fuck my boys. You know what I mean? I'm not saying across the board. But it's like this is a random person who hit me up and was like, "Hey, come to my random thing and be in
Right.
front of these random people." It's like, no. I put more value in front of seeing my friends.
That balance is so important because, like you said, if you only work and you don't have any time for yourself or for what matters, it's like, or for at least
You get
with
no
your friends.
perspective.
Exactly, and I feel like the quality goes down. And at least for me, like if I'm working every day back to back 7 days a week, the quality of my work's gonna go down because I can't like see what's wrong with it. I'm only looking at the same thing. You gotta take a walk. You gotta go on and do stuff, man.
Isn't it funny how Chappelle took 10 years off and came back at the top of the game?
Yeah, he went to Africa for a bit, right? And then is that the time?
That was like he stopped shooting season 3 and was like, "Fuck this," because
Go to-
he was
yeah.
feeling weird and racist and corporate and all this stuff.
And
So
then
he
he
dipped
came
to
back.
Africa just for perspective, like a
Yeah,
week
yeah.
or a couple days.
But then 10 years overall.
in Ohio, raising his family and doing like pop-up comedy here and there around the world, but like
Yeah.
essentially off the grid, like Bigfoot for 10 years.
Yeah.
And comes back as a juggernaut. Meanwhile, Louis C.K. and Bill Burr are consistently working in
Great
that
point.
time.
Great point. Yeah.
And here he is online with all of the juggernauts, and it goes to show it's like it's not always linear.
Yeah.
It's not always like if I go out every night, I will become the best comedian I can possibly be. It's not linear like
Yeah,
that. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And COVID made me learn that because I went 6 months without getting on stage, got on stage, and was like, I'm fucking funnier now.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened because I pivoted to full TikTok and Instagram for COVID.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I became like a content creator.
They're jokes, by the way.
Thanks, man. I
I seen
appreciate it.
the London one killed me and the Squid Game one about...
So, it's just stupid shit. But the point is, like, I used to be really afraid of trying stuff that I wasn't sure would work. And that's the best thing that happened to me was losing that fear. And I took that on stage. That's why I became better. I would mull it over in my head. You ever heard the term paralysis by analysis?
No.
It's like I'm in my head like, is this funny for sure? Because if it's not, I'm not going to make it. I had to get out of that shit of like, take the shot. If you feel like it's funny, do it. You don't have to be 100% sure. And that's what I fucking learned through making that content. And I took that on stage. So I'm like, I've been on stage 6 months and somehow I've improved. I need to rethink this whole hard data, like brute force approach I was doing before. Because I don't think that's the way.
Did you pick it up from how you studied in the school? Because like more times it's like, if you're going to study for chemistry, just straight up.
Usually in high
time?
school, I would do that.
Yeah.
Because in high school, it was always like, get into a good university.
Yeah.
Get into a good program.
So then maybe that carried over, that mentality. Like,
Well, I lost that in university.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Because in university, I was in the good program.
Word.
I was in the good university.
Yeah.
I got in. It was all about getting into this thing. And I'd never failed. So I had no worry in my head that I would fail.
Right.
So it wasn't about learning anything. It was just like, take the knee, fuck off, cram what you need to put it on the paper, learn the thing that you know is going to be on the paper, put it on the paper, and move forward. You know what I mean? It was nothing about learning at all. It was just literally about like strategic regurgitation, really is what it was.
Yeah.
I got the degree, and I never worked a day in that degree. I got a nanotechnology engineering degree. I never worked a day in that.
Damn.
Yeah. And it sounds sick, right?
Yeah,
when I was in
yeah.
the program, I was with all these smart people. I was like, I made it.
Yeah.
Now I just got to take a knee, do these fucking classes, and get the degree, and my life will be great. I'll be rich, and I'll be a nanotech. Like, it's stupid, young kid, naive thinking.
Yeah.
And thank God I went to industry and, like, learned the hard way. Because there's two routes of comedy where people get in right after high school or in high school. And then they like go fully, which is great because you put in a lot of time. You get in a lot. Before you're 30, you put in 12 years, right?
Right, yeah.
But now that I've done the path I've done, I see the perspective of like having worked all those jobs, having fully seen the inner workings of all these corporate worlds, all these industries, and really being able to appreciate comedy, the acting industry, really having a benchmark comparison of all these things. That's like it equips me with being able to do a whole different level of comedy. Yeah. And I wouldn't have realized that unless I'm like in these shoes now.
Yeah, yeah. There's no shortcut to experience, man. Like you have to have gone through all that stuff, man, to get where you are. But did you have like a friend who was doing the similar path? Like who also wanted to be a comedian too? And like
zero.
None.
I don't know. I didn't know one comedian in my life.
Really?
And the first 7 times I did comedy, I did it like I was going to a fucking whorehouse. I would just sneak out of my house. Like I was living with roommates. And I would like, you know what I mean? Like for 6 times.
Really?
You know? Yeah. I would be like, I was just like, again, that's that mentality of like, no one is coming here until I have a thing I can show. I can't show, because I've been a perfectionist my whole life, and now I'm entering the stadium of something I suck at. I've been naturally funny all these years. I'm like, I'm going to be funny. And I had the worst first set you could possibly have. Bombed so bad, lost sleep for 3 days. You know what I mean? Like, terrible, very like ego, like checking.
That is my biggest fear. That's like literally what I'd be afraid of. But I'm sure over time it builds character.
Exactly what happened.
Was it a boo situation or was it just silence? Like
no, I've been booed. I've been booed like 3 years into being like I have a good thing. Then I got booed by a sold out crowd.
Yeah.
That's a whole different thing.
Word?
But this was the first night waiting at a bar for 3 hours. By the time you get up, there's 2 people on there. There's 2 people in the audience who are kind of paying attention. You're up for 5 minutes, but you only do 3, and you bomb so hard you don't even like say that's my time or thank you. You just like walk off and you're sweating and you stay there smiling like you're not crushed, and you go home crushed.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I used to lease. I had this weird dynamic. I used to lease a BMW, a 435.
Word?
Because I was like, yo, I'm killing it. I made it. You know. Right out of college, I get this car. I remember when I was in San Francisco and I was in the open mics, I'm now embarrassed because now it's been a year of doing open mics.
Yeah.
I know where I stand in the totem pole of comedy. I have no like delusions of grandeur about where I am at. So I used to park my BMW around the corner. I would never pull up to the open mic in this BMW. It was too nice. It was too nice. It was too nice for someone as not funny as me. I was literally like, what I had to give, bro. One time I went to an open mic, a show with this host, and at the end we passed a bucket around. And you know, when you pass a bucket around, people put some money in it, and that's how the comedians get paid. And I remember when I was getting in the car after the show, some guys like parking there. It's like, these guys are fucking scamming us. He saw my car. This is a fucking scam. It's like that comedy. What'd you say? Yeah, nothing. We just got in the car quick. Like it wasn't like conversational.
Yeah.
It's like, he's fucking scamming us, kind of thing. I was like, oh fuck, that's so fucking funny. But
oh man.
But yeah. Did you learn anything like art? Do you feel like your art improved during COVID at all? Like the pandemic?
Yo, literally prison workouts and work, but from obviously remotely. Like, you know, I picked up animation, I enhanced it better. So, you know, obviously more prepared.
Kill that intro. Yeah, that intro you just saw. Joshua.
But yeah, man, literally I was just working. I improved a lot. And what I like to do is like I took on clients that I wasn't qualified for like early on, but it forced me to
get up to speed quick.
Exactly, right? So like I kind of like to
sink or swim.
Exactly, and I tend to do quite well, and you know it propelled me further and stuff like that. So
how'd you convince him to hire, or how did you convince him to take the contract on if like your body of work didn't reflect the level they're looking for? Was it all talk? Just hard bullshit?
I feel like, I go into the interviews, like for work, whatever. I always try to be like, I try to be unorthodox or something. Like I always try to go in.
I feel like that would work for artists, you know? Like you come in with a Rubik's Cube for some reason. Every time they ask you a question, you're just working on a Rubik. This guy's a fucking genius.
Yeah, no, I'd like go in. Like I remember I did one interview, like it was an internship. I didn't know if it was paid or unpaid. They didn't specify, but I told him like, man, I'll work for free. I'll work for free tomorrow.
I love that. I love
and
that.
I was trying to be like different and try to somehow make an impact. And then, and then it usually pays off. I think like just kind of leaving a mark somehow. Like,
Did any of them take you on free?
Six Buzz. I did a little bit of work for Six Buzz for a bit, like at the start, and like now I freelanced for them, but I'm not doing it anymore. But
Did you guys just are not working well together? They're
like,
they're probably like they're undervaluing you. I bet
it's a very tricky situation because there's a lot of stuff going on.
It's a big platform.
It is very and like a lot of people have mixed feelings about the company, and I get it, man. Like there's sometimes the content's a little bit whatever.
Yeah, it's like. This little hood chick just did this.
Who
is $6?
I can't even say, like, you know what I mean?
No, don't say names. But is it one guy
it's
at his house?
No, it's a team because they do collaborations with like Foot Locker and like some Toronto artists like Smiley.
Is Smiley a Toronto guy?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. He's
a
Toronto
no
artist.
way.
Yeah,
Bro,
Smiley.
he looks Sudani as fuck. He just dropped an album, right? I was looking at his picture. Yo, Smiley looks like a fucking Sudani like uncle. When do you have like family friends you call uncles?
Yeah. More times.
This looks like a pure cab driver I know. Smiley, and he's kind of fat. It's perfect.
Yeah, no, they collaborate with him and like press and stuff like that, and so it's good. Like for me, like obviously when you're young, you're gonna see Six Buzz and be like, "Yo, this is a great opportunity. I can kind of get familiar with the industry and whatever." And then at a point like where I'm at now, I'm like, for my personal reasons, I'm not gonna work with them anymore and whatever. But I appreciate, I guess, the connections I've had because I got to do stuff for Jagmeet Singh through them and like some other people. So yeah, I mean it was great. But like I'm doing my own thing. I'm not really working with them anymore. But
fuck yeah, look at you, bro. You're like, that ship has sailed. It's you're burning no bridges too. Great people at Six Buzz too. Maybe we'll work together in the future. Who knows? You know what I mean? It's like I love that shit. Like. It was an amicable ending. Yeah, we came to an amicable ending.
Let's go with
the
that.
business relationship.
Yeah, man.
Do you remember your first big client? Like when you came to when you entered, like, you know what I mean? Like when you were like, oh fuck, they don't know I'm too big as fuck. Like the first person you feel like you scammed them. Like not with the work you produced, but with getting
I'm not ready. Yeah, I'm not ready for this.
The gig, yeah.
Man, I don't know. Like I've always like, I wouldn't say like I've never been like unqualified, but like I feel like the work's always been there, but it's just like I'm trying to think. Like it might have been like with I remember I did a flyer, like the flyer for Jagmeet, right? Was probably like my first well-known person within the city, and then
this was the one. What it says like.
It was Jagmeet Singh, like a little graphic flyer for an Instagram story, right? So like we had to do it and communicate with his team.
Yeah.
So
were they super political about it? Yeah, that's government level shit. That's like a federal election campaign, right?
Yeah, but it was more so it was with Six Buzz. So like he was gonna be featured like on the Six Buzz page and do like a little story takeover. So then both teams had to and myself had to communicate with him, and did they like the picture, did they like, you know what I mean? Like
gotcha.
If it's presentable. But I remember being like, dude, like am I ready like to make stuff for
Jagmeet?
For Jagmeet, like am I ready? Like nah, I'm ready, man. Like I can do this. It was a light flyer too.
Just fake it till you make it, right?
And then at a point you're like, oh, I've done this before, like at a certain point
they want the same thing I've been doing for all these people.
That's what I'm saying, man. So like I feel like yeah, like at the time, like I faked it enough, and then I'm like, now I'm comfortable with this. This isn't fake. Like
it's funny. It's similar with comedy because sometimes you're like, oh my god, I'm doing this venue. You know what I mean? But then you realize you're caught up on the idea of the venue. Like this person came to this venue.
Yeah.
This person performed here, right? You're caught up on that. Where in reality, it's like you did a venue that has 200 people. Those same 200 people came to this venue that has all this like it's illustrious background, and now you're tripping balls, and it's the same 200 motherfuckers in front of you, and then you just gotta be like, this is the same thing. And like sometimes you fucking with comedy it's very tough, you know what I mean? That whole thing of like immediate like gratification or bomb. So you're like sometimes that being in your head defeats you. Paralysis by analysis.
Yes.
You have a weird opening because you were so weird, and then you start going weirder because you're like, fuck, I lost him on the opening. I gotta go real strong now, and that pressure fucks you up even more.
Yeah.
So you just, and then you may have a decent set at the end just because the first half was so weird, at one point there's this beautiful thing where it's like you're like, fuck, this isn't gonna be a perfect set, and that comfort, that moment of like, this is not gonna be like, I still have that perfectionist thing in my head, but when you accept this isn't gonna be perfect, there's a comfort that comes over you, and like your best performance starts then and there.
Yeah,
weirdly enough, you know.
Yeah, I hear that. Have you ever had when it was like forced on you, where like you go to a venue and you're like, you have to filter your jokes, like you can't say these type of jokes, and you can't really, you felt like you're limited because you can't use your best jokes because like whatever reason they have.
It's funny you say that because I had a corporate gig that requested me to do an hour and no mentioning. I swear to God, they said this list. They go, no current topics. They started with current topics. When they start with current topics, I was like, oh, this is done. Current topics?
Those are the hard hitters, right? Like that.
Could literally
the
be
recency.
Schoolgirl sells most lemonade ever. You don't even want me to talk about that recently. You know what I mean? Like current topics, sex, race. I just told them no, I'm not doing this. Like I know a hack that may be interested in this, but like that's insane. Like I used to think, oh, take anything. No, now it's like, no, you don't have to do that. Now it's like if they are asking you to do something that I don't want to do, you don't have to say yes. Yeah. There's this immigrant thing inside me that it's like, I can't say no to a thing because I am struggling financially. I need the money. I can't say no. And it's like, yeah, you can't say no. Just drive a little bit more Uber Eats. Yeah. Got a couple more hours this week for a couple more weeks and we'll offset that. But like, you don't have to say yes to something that you're like, okay, how the fuck am I going to do this? Fuck, this is going to be a nightmare. You don't have to say yes to that thing.
It is the worst when you, like in the times where you do take it, it's just like, this isn't even, like they might even ruin your craft because of how much you filter.
Exactly. And then it's like, damn, I got my name on this now too, right?
Have you ever like...
No, for you, I imagine it's because it lives in perpetuity after you step away from it. With comedy, it's like that night. The beauty of it, right? It's fleeting in the sense that it's like a live thing and it's gone, right? But with you, it's like they could mold you into something you don't want to be, and then they have it for like 6 years or some shit.
Dude, no. Have you ever had like where... Yeah, like same thing. Like there's like they maybe put a clip on their story of like something, a set you did, and you're like, this wasn't, you guys.
This is not representative of what I do.
Yeah, like and you didn't share it because you're like.
Yeah, all the time. People like comedians when they book me on a show, they'll just go on my Instagram, get a photo of me. And I'm like, stop. They keep pulling this like cute guy headshot I have from 4 years ago when I first moved to Toronto. That it's not funny. It's like the non-threatening black neighbor look. I'm like, don't have that as my picture for a comedy show. I don't want that. They keep pulling this one photo, and I have to tell people specifically, I sent you these photos. Why do you don't use that photo. Stop using that photo.
That's the worst, man.
Because when you see a comedy show, you kind of want the photo to reflect the vibe of that show, right?
Yeah.
At the very least, you should be doing something like, you should be doing something that's like, oh shit, like a vibe of what your comedy is.
You don't want LinkedIn.
Just be smiling in a leather jacket, well lit perfectly. Like, what the fuck is this photo? Stop using this photo. I hate this photo, dude.
It shouldn't be like LinkedIn vibes. It should be like, it should be like a funny thing.
Exactly.
You know?
This is like the headshot I don't use that is just haunting me, you know?
Do you have it on here right now?
I'll show you it right now.
No, that's so funny.
And it's not a bad headshot.
It's just not representative.
Yeah, it's just I don't want this for my comedy show. This is not a good headshot for comedy. It's like it's so stupid. But
I need to take new stuff too, man. Like I kind of relate. People use old pictures for like if I'm doing like a little if I'm speaking at like a event or something. Like it'll always be the same picture they usually pick, but it doesn't really matter with an artist because like I can look anyway, really, and then.
It's this photo. It's not bad.
That's a good picture, though.
It's a good picture,
yeah,
right?
But I get what you're saying. That's like you're about to
the
be
boy next door type of thing, and not sexually or anything. It's just like he'll help you with homework and something. I don't know what the fuck.
Dude, I should put like a movie title and like the movie credits
for the people to see. You know, for a little bit of perspective. That's a treat for the viewers. But yeah, stop using that fucking photo. I know comedians listen to this. Don't use that photo anymore. But brother, I always ask at the end of the podcast. I got these 3 questions that I do because it's the immigrant section. We got to do it, right?
Oh yeah.
Question 1, and of course I got to ask: were you beat as a kid?
I'm gonna be real with you, man. And this is probably like some of my friends are gonna see this and be like, "Oh, this guy was capping the whole time." Like I grew up around like Jamaican friends. Like all my friends are mostly Jamaican and like Middle Eastern. So they got beat, and they tell their stories.
Like war stories.
Dude, they'd be like, "Oh, you got the bell.
Got the
I got
switch?
you got
Got the phone cord?
spoon. What is spoon?" And then I felt so left out. Like my parents beat me when I was young, but not even that bad, bro. Maybe
like
a
they put
slap.
chopsticks in my ass. Like, damn.
But dog, like they used to go in a circle and be like, "Yo, he punched me in the throat," like whatever. Like maybe they were capping, but like I felt so left out. I used to just jump in and be like, "Yo, you only got the wooden spoon, bro. I got the wooden fork." Like I'll be like, "Nah, you guys got it soft, bro." Like I'll just join in. But truth be told, not even that bad, man. Like I didn't even get it. I was all right, bro.
Yo, my parents hung me last night, bro. They brought me back right before I lost consciousness. Damn, bro, they almost killed that.
Yeah, I say they're gonna see this and roast me, but it wasn't even that bad, man. Like
That's so funny.
I was a pretty good behaved kid too. On top of that, so
Isn't that funny, dude? I grew up around he was older. He was like a rich black kid who rapped, and he was rich. He was very well off, but his dad would always drop him off in the hood. He'd like be around the hood guys. And it was so funny because it was such a nice SUV, and he'd always get dropped off in the hood.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
bro.
we're just like, yo, you're not struggling. We're just.
But some people, they want to glorify it too.
They do.
It's like
'Cause
cool,
they feel
you know?
kind of bad, you know. They're like, I got it too easy. Fuck, I can't be honest about how easy I got it relative to these are my friends. I got
bro.
a match.
It's a fitting in thing too.
Yeah.
At that age, like you just want to add your input to the story, man, and that's what I was doing.
It's funny what you do to fit in as a young kid. It's crazy the logic you have in your head. Like,
yo, Lord knows they might be they all faking it too. Who knows, right?
because
Like,
imagine now that you went around. You'd be like, shit, yo, my parents fucking love me, dog. They hug me every day. Y'all boys got traumatized. Shit. You'd own it too, right? Like, it's funny. Back then, you're like, I got beat even harder than all of you. You know? But that's fucking jokes, so I love that.
Yeah.
War stories. Second question.
okay.
What's some shit you've only seen Filipinos do?
Oh man, it's tricky because like I could say the auntie gossip, right? But
Like,
that's
I could say
everywhere.
tax fraud. But I know Arabs are doing that too.
It's tricky, man. I don't know. Because there's a lot of similarities with like every culture, I feel. You know what I mean? Like the food, I could say the food thing. You go to Filipinos' house, you're leaving with bare food. They might as well call
Like
it
they're gonna
Mandarin.
give you food to go for sure.
For sure. Keep
go.
the container. Keep the container too. It's
Like
yours.
it's all plastic containers specifically
Yeah.
for to go.
Yeah. I feel like maybe that is. I don't know if it's just a Filipino thing, but I'll say that because like, yeah, if you go to any Filipino's crib, it's like you're leaving with food. Like go hungry, and they'll like again you can keep the containers and stuff like that.
That's great. A lot of cultures will feed you, but I haven't heard anyone being like you're leaving with food.
Yeah.
Even if you wait and you're full and you're good.
fam, yo, you're always gonna be full, especially if the grandparents are around. It's all
They're sending you off with something.
fam. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but I think
On that note, I actually forgot. So, is there a point? Are you beginning to get that like guilt about not having gone to the Philippines?
Yo,
What is that? Tell
this
me
is
about
what
your
it is,
feelings.
man.
Tell
This is
me.
what it is, because it's literally like I don't even think
You know you gotta go, right?
I do. But
Yeah.
here's why. Because like if I complain, like and I'll complain as a kid, I'll be like, oh man, it's cold in the house. Every time my parents would be like, oh, you wouldn't survive in Philippines. I'll be like, can you kill that bug over there? You think that's scary? The bugs in Philippines are like 10 times the size. Pterodactyls, man. They breathe fire and stuff. So I'm like,
Dinosaurs not even extinct over there. They're still around.
bro, and they're like, and then I'm like, how can you blame me for not wanting to go? Because you guys are like making it sound like hell.
Even selling it like hell.
Yo,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
scared. But like the biggest selling point is like there is beautiful stuff, and I have family over there, so that's the main reasons I want to go. But, bro, everybody gives me like problems for it. They're like, oh, you haven't gone yet, man. Are you even Filipino? Like, but yeah, no, I have to go though. Like I have to go soon. Like I'm gonna try next year maybe.
Yeah.
With my fam.
I want to go to Sudan actually real soon. I might have to go soon. What's funny is like
word?
it's just like that COVID thing where I've only been to Sudan 3 times.
Oh, word. Okay.
Like 2 summers and 1 Christmas break.
Okay.
I used to go when I was a kid, like 3 months. Every 5 years we'd go all
Oh, so not as an
3 months.
adult, you've been back.
Last time I went, first year university Christmas break, 2009.
Word.
12 years ago.
Word.
Last time I went.
Okay.
But that time was almost pseudo adult. So now it will be the first time going as an adult. And I'm excited because it's one of those things where I think it's like, it's necessary for perspective in the sense of being like, take the night off to hang out with people because it's going to make your comedy better. on that same type of level. It's like you gotta go see this thing you're from.
Yeah.
To better, like, I don't want to say qualify your existence, but like to just, it kind of like creates this map of like, you know where you are here, but now you got this line going back there once you go there. Because once you see it, bro, it makes you grateful to a whole different level. That's why I'm happy they took me young. Yeah. Because when they took me young, I'm like, that's how like I came up with this. Like, damn, we got it good here. This is crazy, you know? This is crazy night. So you got to go. Yeah. And then watch your fucking art shift completely, and like now you're wearing pure Filipino. You're gonna be one of those guys who hasn't gone to their home country until late in their 20s, and now adopts all that shit. Like that guy wearing a dashiki all of a sudden talking about my brother.
Fam, there's I don't even know her name, but there's this lady, because my dad's like one of the indigenous people from Philippines, right? So
God damn, he's a throwback Filipino.
Yo, hella, man. And then they look black too.
Yeah, like Filipinos are like mad crazy. Yeah, like everything. Spanish.
The first ones are really dark, and like there's this lady there that is known for doing like the traditional tattoos where like they like hammer the
Japanese style. Like,
exactly. Yeah. But she's an OG. She's like really old, but she's been doing it. And you have to climb this mountain or like go through this super tough hill to get her and get her to do tattoos for you. But
a quest.
Literally a quest. It's like it's a hard way to get there. And like no, I'm trying to get a tattoo from her. Oh, I'm thinking about it. I just have to figure out what I want. But
how funny would it be if you like hiked 3 days? Lost one of your friends when you get there. She's like, oh, you have to book me on Eventbrite. Yeah, no walk-in, sorry. You're like, what the fuck? No, 2 minutes. Yeah, like
I'm going home the next day, man.
I love that. You're like, I'll go to Philippines, but I gotta spin it into a reason to get a tattoo. Then I'll go to the Philippines. I gotta get a tattoo, a cool tattoo and story out of it. You're an artist. You're a true artist, bro. And then do it. And then have that tattoo, and then that's gonna be the fucking tattoo. That's gonna be your flagship tattoo.
There is a story too, right? Like, of course. Like, yo, I climbed, I fought through like 50 people. You know what I mean? It's like a cool story to say with it, right?
Everyone loves that shit, yo. Yeah. It's like old world shit. That's why you gotta leave Canada, bro. Canada, this is awesome, but this is like sometimes it's like where when you start a game, that default place they stop you. Yes. The whole world is available, but Canada's like that default spot. It's like there's so much out there, you know what I mean?
I haven't even left North America. I've been to Vancouver. Yeah. Like I've been to Michigan, Florida. Yeah. But I haven't gone like to a place that looks different from like
Vancouver and Philippines look exactly the same, right?
I bet.
Vancouver?
I bet. Yeah.
That's Asia extended, bro. But yeah, go to the Philippines, dog. Coming from the guy who hasn't been to Sudan in 12 years, right? Yeah. Go to the Philippines. Like I know shit.
I'll send you a story when I get there, man.
Yeah, from there.
I made it, man.
That's my guy, yo. You get malaria and die. Shit. Shit, man. That guy was halfway through this logo I was redesigning. Fuck. Okay, yo. Final question. When Filipinos talk shit, who's the butt of jokes? You know, like a lot of like. Man. There's always like the countries love to talk shit about other. India's talk shit about Pakistan and like.
I know Sudan is. I think in the previous Egypt, right? I think I seen an episode.
Yeah. And vice versa.
Bro, I don't even know if we have an enemy, man. That's a hard one. I don't think we have a particular.
Not even a shit talking enemy, not a real enemy.
Yeah. Like
it's usually like whatever sport that country loves most, and whoever their rival is. It's usually that country in a weird way. You know what?
We don't like they're not like a butt of the joke. Like it's not really verbal, but when it comes to Mexicans, since Pacquiao like fought so many Mexicans, there's always that rivalry.
Exactly.
He's the only Filipino, and he's fighting like bare Mexicans, and he got knocked out by one, right? So it's just like there's always maybe that hidden like rivalry when it comes to boxing. So it's probably there, and I feel like Mexicans have a similar family value too. So it's like
Filipino, I gotta fight you or some shit.
If I ever went into boxing, I'm destined to fight a Mexican, like as the final boss. Like that just feels like I will probably, you know what I mean.
It's relative to whatever your ethnicity.
Yeah, right? exactly, right. So it's like,
that's for white kids, the final boss is just trauma. The uncle fucking touching trauma comes back from Thanksgiving dinner, 2003. Brother, this has been a fucking pleasure, man. I feel like I can talk to you for a solid other hour. Not two more, one more.
Just one. You know what? Then I forgot.
Yo, it's time, bro. You know how hard it was to just forget about that shit?
He's just chilling there. You could see.
Yeah, bro. It's fucking. This guy's teasing to the max.
I just want to say, man. I appreciate you having me on because like this is my first podcast experience. So I made you this typography portrait of you.
Yo, that's fucking... Yo, what the fuck? Yo, that's crazy. Are you seeing this
Yeah,
shit?
if you zoom in, it has like Immigrant Section like written all over it too. So it's like,
That's
yeah, man.
crazy, yo.
You've been working hard, man. I feel like you deserve like a
beauty,
gift.
man. That's fucking...
all yours.
Bro, that's awesome, man. You fucking... You're on that artist shit, yo.
I try to be, man.
This is crazy. I don't even know, like... My girlfriend will be like, that's not going up in the bedroom. I put this up in the bedroom.
I had to hit her up and be like, do you have a picture of a boss? Like,
Oh,
that I could...
no way.
Yeah,
You
yeah. I was
did?
like, yeah, I need a good
Bro,
picture.
get out of my girl's DMs, bro. I just jump over the table. Yo, I appreciate you, man.
No problem, man.
This is some high level shit. I gotta figure out where to put this because I know if I put it, I got so many comedian friends doing episodes. If I put it in here, they're gonna rip me apart. I still probably will do it. Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. Rogan probably has a picture of himself somewhere. I don't know. Fuck. But yo, mad respect, bro. You're
Got you,
talented
brother.
as hell. Yo,
Appreciate that.
look into that camera. Let the people know where to find you, and if you have graphic design needs or anything like that, what's the best way to reach you?
Hit me up on Instagram at Joshua Dacucos, and check out at Obtain Media on Instagram as well.
As always, both of those will be in the description, so no need to remember anything. At Obtain Media.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Check that out. Work with this guy. The Random Screening Crew, that hoodie, my man did it. The intro, he did it, and more to come. And I'm working on a poster right now for this next show I got coming
are
up.
you?
I just want to get your feedback on it real
Yeah,
quick.
hell yeah, man. For sure.
But yo, from my end, support the show directly at patreon.com/The Immigrant Section. Get bonus episodes every Friday on the street interviews, all that shit. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. Brother, this has been a pleasure. I'd love to have you back in like
Hell yeah.
6 months or so, cycle it through. We'll see. Maybe you'll
Let's
go
do
to
it.
Philippines. Actually, no, fuck that. You're not coming back on
So I
until you go
don't
to
know.
Philippines. Yeah, go, bro.
I got you.
Yo, until next time. Peace.